Well, good morning, everybody. Yesterday, I found out. Let me see if I set this right. Oops. No. Not great because of the light behind me. Hang on. That didn't work at all. Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and go with it. It wasn't me you wanted to see anyway. That's not the point. The point is, let's see. It's been years. I got sick this summer. Got sick to my stomach this summer. I had some non-retractable nausea and vomiting, and I've done that a couple of times in the last few years. And I went ahead and I went to the minor emergency. And when they did my blood sugar, it was high. So I ended up making an appointment with my doctor and having my A1C tested. My A1C came back at 6, which is definitely pre-diabetic, borderline diabetic. I think 6.4 is the actual cutoff that's full-blown diabetic. Anyway, so she told me I was diabetic. That's exactly how she said it. I did not feel good that day. I don't think she felt good either. And she slightly went over the fact that my coconut water had more sugar in it than I probably needed to take. Cool. I started looking at it. My diet was so good compared to most people. I mean, seriously. I've been working on losing 100 pounds since 2014. It started in 2012. By 2014, I was serious about it. By the end of 2014, I'd been to UPW Dallas and gone through the Dickens process, gotten back in touch with Tammy, the soccer player, that was like 10-15% body fat. I mean, I was an athlete. I am that person. And I got back in touch with that, and to be completely honest, I started making changes. Life happens, man. Like, this thing will happen and it'll throw you off, and that thing will happen, it'll throw you off. At that point in time, I hadn't had anything, and I had not had a, let's see. That's kind of a sidebar, but at that point, I hadn't had anything to drink. No alcohol for, I don't know, about a year, I think. 6 months to a year at that point. Before that, it was several years. Alcohol does not agree with me. Whenever I first found out I was gestationally diabetic with my first daughter, I was working at the hospital, sitting in the report room at the nurse's station on the cardiac floor, and I was thinking about diabetes and alcoholism and some of the things, and it just seemed like to me there was some sort of connection, or obviously, but for me at the time, it was some sort of connection between a predisposition to diabetes and a predisposition to alcoholism. At that moment, I had neither. I had gestationally diabetic, and I had never succumbed to alcoholism at that point. I just didn't drink. Anyway, I decided that there was definitely a connection. At that point, I also, in my own head, decided that there was a huge connection for the Native Americans. I am Native. I do not have a card. Almost positive that the Native is Cherokee. But my family didn't sign up on the roll. For whatever reason, there's like 4 different stories about it. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. What I do know is that I have a special nephew, and he had to have genetic testing to find out exactly what syndrome he had. He has Opitz syndrome. And when they did the genetic testing, his father is Cherokee. And my sister, my full-blood biological sister, his mother, is Native as well. We assume Cherokee again, but don't know. So there is definitely a Native connection with this girl. I'm Native, I just don't get the benefits. So now I can help my people. They don't have to pay me, LOL. Just kidding. Anyway, I found out that my A1C was 6, and I got really serious about my diet, and I didn't drink anything but water and black coffee, a little bit of tea with honey here and there, and that's actually normal for me. That was one of the first things I did when I started my 100-pound weight loss journey, was get rid of the empty calories. I do not need the empty calories. Every calorie that you eat should count for something. If it doesn't have vitamin C, does it have protein? If it doesn't have that, does it have K2? What are you looking for? What are you trying to get out of your food? Wow, there's your question. There's everything right there. What is it you as a human being are trying to get out of your food? I had to decide that what I wanted from my food was health. Oh, I was so addicted. I am still addicted to food. I just found different ways to meet my needs. My dopamine drip comes because I fix recipes. I plan food. I shop for food. I source food. I help people with their food. I just don't have to feed myself. Over and over and over. Feed myself. I don't have to drink 6 beers at night and put all that sugar in my system and kill myself. It's a trip. So anyway, I went back to the doctor 4 months later, and just with the simple diet, and I really didn't change my diet much. I pretty much was eating that way. I just had gotten to where I was indulging in ice cream at night. That's not good for you. Anyway, I changed my diet, and I went back to my doctor 4 months later, and my A1C is 5.2. Completely normal. No diabetes. I did that. I did that. Yay. I really did. In 4 months, I reversed it by myself with my diet. I do take metformin, and I probably will for the rest of my life. The reason I take metformin, I wanted metformin before I knew about my metabolic issue that was causing high blood sugar. I wanted metformin because metformin gives you longevity. Metformin does something for our cells. It increases our telomeres. A person who takes metformin for diabetes, isn't the best thing to have, can live longer, or will live longer than the average person that doesn't take metformin. Duh. Give me some metformin, man. Like, that was easy for me. But I do have a predisposition to the cellular deficiency. I just happen to know that in 4 months, you can go from a 6.0 A1C to a 5.2. I weigh 140 to 144 pounds. It seems like I'm in the 20% fat range. My BMI is right around 22. I love it when it gets down to 21 point something. That's the target. BMI of 21 is going to extend your life longer than anything else you can do. And you definitely don't want your BMI over 22. So pay attention. Yes, those are stupid numbers. They came up with them a long time ago. They're not completely stupid. We just don't like what they say. When I was a 35 BMI, I was fucking pissed. Now that I'm a 21 BMI, those numbers make sense. Amazing how that works as a human being. That's funny. So, God, the journey to being able to heal my diabetes in 4 months' time was a almost 10-month journey. I had so much healing that I did in the process to lose the first 100 pounds, to become the person that I wanted to be. Whew. And I didn't do it by myself. I have a partner, a husband, who loves me, not unconditionally, but he loves me as I love him. And he's done everything he can to not always assist me, but always stay out of my way and celebrate me. He celebrates me. And that's important. So find somebody that you can, and it can be your sister, it can be your mother, it can be your bestie, it can be your husband, it can be your wife, it can be your coach. Find a coach. If you don't have that kind of a relationship with anyone, and most of us don't, at least that's what I choose to believe, find a coach. And as far as losing 100 pounds, honey, you've either got money or you've got time. You can buy all the products. You can pay all the people to help you do it. Still takes time. For me, it took 7 years. 7 years. Time was going to pass anyway. Like, psh. The deal is, at 7 years, I got a blood test, and my blood test came back that I'm 9 years younger, cellularly, than my chronological age. I'm 50. My cells are 41. I did that.